With impact level prioritization, the organization determines what systems are more important to accomplishing the organizational mission and which are less important. It also determines those critical things in the organization that must be protected. So join us to talk about this one. This is task P6, impact level prioritization. Task P6 is a prioritization of organizational systems with the same impact level is conducted in this task. Potential inputs include the security categorization information from organizational systems, system descriptions, organization and system level risk assessment results, mission or business objectives, and the cybersecurity framework profiles. Expected outputs from this task are the organizational systems prioritized into low, moderate, and high impact subcategories. So at the end of this task, you should have the ability to categorize systems as low, moderate, and high impact, and systems within the organization that already exist should be able to be placed into one of these three subcategories. Primary responsibility is the senior accountable official for risk management or the risk executive function. Supporting roles include the senior agency information security officer, the senior agency official for privacy, the mission or business owner, the system owner, the chief information officer, the authorizing official, or the authorizing official's designated representative. So you can see there's a lot of people that support this task. This aligns with the cybersecurity framework, IDAM5, asset management task. That's resources, including hardware, devices, data, time, personnel, and software, are prioritized based on their classification, criticality, and business values. And that's what we're going to do in this task for information systems. For the standard RMF framework, we're going to place systems into one of three categories. That's high, moderate, or low. That allows us to prioritize the systems and place more emphasis on those systems that have high impact than those systems that have moderate or low. This task is carried out only after organizational systems have been categorized. That's going to be conducted in task C1. So it's important to have this framework set so that when we get to task C1, systems can be categorized and then put into the framework at the organizational level. This task requires organizations first apply the high watermark concept for each of their information systems categorized in accordance with FIPS, or the Federal Information Processing Standard, 199 and 200. The application of the high watermark concept results in systems being designated as low impact, moderate impact, or high impact. And we'll talk about this again in task C1, but the high watermark means that we'll determine the impact to the system, normally based on the types of information that flow through the system. And the high watermark means that we'll look at the highest impact rating overall, normally from the information types, and that highest rating will apply to the entire system. For example, if we have 3 information types that are rated at low, 4 information types that are rated at moderate, and 1 rated at high, the high information type becomes the high watermark for the system, and the system is categorized as a high impact system. Organizations desiring additional granularity in their impact designations for risk-based decision making can use this task to prioritize their system within each impact level. For example, organizations may decide to prioritize its moderate impact systems by assigning each moderate system one of 3 new subcategories. So now we have not only high, moderate, and low, but within the moderate category, we can have low moderate systems, moderate systems, and high moderate systems. And this is important if we have a lot of moderate systems. This allows us to further categorize those moderate systems, so we can look at the high moderate systems first, then look at the moderate systems, and then the low moderate systems. And again, as in the normal classification structure, those systems that are designated as high moderate systems would get additional scrutiny and additional controls and additional breadth and depth of implementation and assessment over those systems that are designated as low moderate systems. So this just allows us to further categorize our systems. The high moderate systems assume a higher priority than the moderate systems, and low moderate systems, those assume a lower priority than the moderate systems. The prioritization of moderate systems gives organizations an opportunity to make informed decisions regarding selection and tailoring of control baselines when responding to identified risks. Again, now it gives us an additional set of classifications that can be used when determining profiles, determining which baseline will be used, determining what controls will be applied. For example, we may have more controls applied to a high moderate system than a low moderate system, even though both systems are categorized as moderate. Impact level prioritization can also be used to determine those systems that are critical or essential to organizational missions and business operations, and therefore organizations can focus on the factors of complexity and system interconnections. Such systems can be identified, for example, by prioritizing high impact systems into low high systems, moderate high systems, and high high systems. And again, this just gives us more flexibility in breaking out that high level impact rating, and maybe those high high systems are the systems that directly relate to the organizational missions or are critical to the mission of the organization. Impact level prioritizations can be conducted at any level of the organization and are based on the security categorization data reported by individual system owners. Impact level prioritization may necessitate the development of organizationally tailored baselines to designate the appropriate set of controls for the additional and more granular impact levels. So we will have the possibility to create a specified baseline for high systems, for moderate systems, for moderate low systems, for high low systems, for low high systems. Gives us just more granularity and maybe even add more complexity to the implementation of controls. So think about this carefully when you're determining about this optional step. Should your organization further break down the high, moderate, and low categorization levels into these three delineations, additional delineation? Your organization may decide maybe they need 4, 5, or 6 delineations within a specific categorization level. So moderate may have critical moderate, high moderate, moderate, low moderate, and very low moderate. That could be an option. It's up to the organization to determine how these additional control granularity is going to be implemented, if it's going to be implemented at all. The cybersecurity framework profiles can be used by organizations to support the impact level prioritization. The mission and business objectives and prioritized outcomes defined in the applicable cybersecurity framework profile can help distinguish relative priority between systems with the same impact level. Cybersecurity framework profiles can be organized around the priority of mission and business objectives of the organization, and those objectives are assigned a relative priority among them. For example, human and environmental safety objectives may be the 2 most important objectives relevant to the profile's context. In this example, when performing task P6, a system that relates to a human safety objective may be prioritized higher than a system that has the same impact level but does not relate to the human safety objective. Again, the big point of this task is to create the right level of categorizations and possibly even baselines to support those categorizations that give you the ability to implement control sets and process systems through the RMF according to their criticality and their risk levels as they relate to the organization. So one organization may use the standard NIST defined categorizations of high, moderate, and low, while another organization may break those high, moderate, and low categorizations down into 9 categories that include high through low, high moderate through low moderate, and high low through low, giving implementers a much more flexible framework to use to implement controls and categorize their systems. This requires that organizations define these levels in the onset of the development of the RMF and requires a little more work up front, but can result with great benefits in the long run. References to this topic include FIPS 199 and 200, Special Publications 830, 39, 59, 60 Volumes 1 and 2, 160 Volume 1, IR 8179, CNSSI 1253, and the NIST Cybersecurity Framework. In this module, we discuss the task P9, its inputs and outputs, roles and responsibility, SDLC lifecycle alignment, cybersecurity framework alignment, categorization, additional granularity, prioritization, mission and business alignment, impact level prioritization, the cybersecurity framework, and references. If these don't look familiar or you're not very comfortable with them, go back and watch the video again. And until next time, we'll see you in the next video.